Hello, and welcome to something completely different. I felt like the emotional content may not come through if I don't do this in person, so hello. For those of you who don't know me, this is me. I don't know why you would know me. That seems weird. Maybe you were shared this link on LinkedIn or something, and I hope you enjoy. Feel free to peruse the rest of the blog. It should have the same tone, maybe a little bit less kind of fiery and motivational, but nonetheless enjoyable. My name is Ross, and I would like for you to uh, pay attention to me as I kind of rant for a little bit about something that's been troubling me lately. So first off, this is a complete disclaimer. I may never work again as a result of this video. That's not clickbait. That's just my honest opinion. But it's a good thing because I was told once that entrepreneurs are just people who nobody wants to work with, or can't work with anybody else. We're too opinionated. So perhaps I'm just forcing myself into entrepreneurship. This could work out for the best. Uh, this is a call to action for developers, and maybe a shot across the bow or a flaming bag of poo on the doorstep of every bad manager. I've noticed a lot of bad managers over my in my tenure, and I thought perhaps that it was just me, that I was just too opinionated, or um, that I didn't know enough. I was still young in my career, but by now I think I'm pretty confident. I feel confident enough to say that bad managers are a systemic blight on every industry, not just technology. I'm focusing on technology here because it's what I know. But I think they're just horrible, and I think that it's preventable, and I want to talk about my ideas about solutions. This is not an excuse to point fingers. This is not an apologist's view where I, take the side and take up the plight of the poor developer. There are a lot of really, really bad developers that exist in the world too, right? And they should be worried as well. I'm kind of singling out managers because, I feel like there's a lot of room for improvement there, and also because it's a personal, it's a soft spot for me, um, having done this for quite a while, and having transformed, I think, in my own kind of personal story arc, or career trajectory, or whatever you want to call it, from developer single contributor to true leader, and I think that that journey has broadened my my thinking on this from being a sort of passive, pathetic whiner about, lamenting about the world, to someone who really cares about fixing things. And so there's also this sort of air of, kind of activism lately. I don't know if you've caught that in the news, but maybe it's just kind of something in the zeitgeist here. Who am I to say such outlandish things? If you've never seen me or heard of me, I'm kind of a big deal. Uh, no, actually, I'm just nobody. I have no degree, no management training whatsoever. Uh, but I sort of represent the hidden sentiment that I'm claiming that you should care about, and I'll kind of explain that in a moment. That is felt and experienced by all of your programmers and probably other, professionals. This probably applies to other creatives as well. This is probably a sentiment shared by, marketers and salespeople alike. I don't think there's anything unique about the plight of someone who does creative work and cares about their work and is kind of, just feels oppressed and beaten down and helpless. Uh, so let's jump right in there. Oh man. All right. Well, this came out poorly, but I'll post a link to these properly. You can kind of. I should have tested. I should have done a test run, but I'm doing this live, so this is what you get, I suppose. Who needs a process? This man is a visionary, Ted Ziyuba. He is my spirit animal. He, through a series of something very unfortunate happened in his life, and he decided to completely change his tone on the web. He deleted his blog, or he left left an archive of it. I respect him for doing it. I mean, it's understandable. You want to make a big change after something like that, but this stuff is sage wisdom. Every programmer, if you're watching, go and read all of Ted's articles, every single one, bar none. The best collection of just not even technical blogs, but just like sage wisdom about the industry that no one tells you, and that you should definitely know. Similarly, One Hacker Way, Eric Meyer is a genius. Don't call yourself a programmer. These are things that I tell my interns when they come in, which subsequently causes them to leave and go on to work for Microsoft and Fidelity and all these places. This is the kind of stuff that I tell. I'm just now practicing what I preach in that sense, right? Also, Communist Manifesto, because I'm going to talk about, inverting the, power dynamics and means of production and all this stuff. Google it. I don't have a link to that. I'm sure you can find it. It's probably free somewhere. Alright, so this is point. Yes, this is a reminder to dial it back, because I don't actually want to get fired. I'm not calling for open rebellion, and I've also never read the Communist Manifesto. If any of these ideas kind of echo anything in that, it's purely accidental. I'm quite liberal in general, but not an open, commie or something. So don't send your McCarthyist thugs my way. So I've also got some inspiration for this talk, or sort of, this has been brewing for a while, but it's only now that it's coming out, and I think I have a couple of causes here, or sort of my my reasons for talking about this stuff. The love of a good woman. Everybody loves the support of a spouse or a loved one, and I have that now, apparently, which is a delight and a pleasure. And also Scotch can help you through troubling times, and I encourage everyone to drink responsibly, but who doesn't enjoy a good glass of Scotch now and again? And facts! Everyone is smarter and more confident when they have facts, and I have them. I've got charts and graphs to back up my opinions. What have you got? I actually have no graphs, but I have links that probably contain graphs. So this is the single most important, and this has been a theme for like the past week. I've been talking to a lot of developers who are just lamenting in this kind of sad struggle for to be heard, and they feel like they have no voice, right? They feel as though that no one cares, that none of their worth, that none of the work that they do has value, and it's just wrong, right? It's just flatly wrong, and I feel like they need to know this, right? This shouldn't be hidden. This is free knowledge, right? Okay, so here's a quick example. Take your salary. You're a good well-paid on-market software engineer. You're probably making, I don't know, $90,000 to $120,000. All right, now double it. Okay, all right, we're starting to see a little significant numbers shaking up here. Now, arbitrarily, I have no basis for this, but just there's an additional amount of money. I've just made up a number, 20,000, but append that to your salary as well, because it's going to cost your company at least this much in time and energy and recruiting efforts, everything involved. Like, this is what you're worth, right? If you're really good. If you suck, then you get automated away and they save money. But if you're really, really good, if you provide a unique skill, and this, go read Don't Call Yourself a Programmer from like 9 slides ago or whatever. I'm moving. I have no idea how fast I'm moving. I'm not timing the stuff. Whatever. Go read that, because that's what you're selling, right? When you go for a job interview, this is what you're selling people on, is that I am worth more to your company than just the amount on my resume, right? I have lots of skills that are themselves unique, or provide, are in such a cool combination that you won't find it anywhere else, and not at this price for sure. So know your worth, right? If you're a creative person, you're very, very valuable, and you need to use this. You need to carry this worth around with you everywhere you go, and let it infuse you with confidence rather than just feeling timid and powerless, right? you're lucky to have a job. Have you ever heard that phrase from a horrible, horrible person? This is like Depression era thinking. This is not the way the world works anymore. Uh, if you have a skill, then your employer is the lucky one, right? They are benefiting massively from your ability to apply that skill to make them money. If it were some sort of charity, how would the world work, right? So they need you, and you're worth a lot. So why are you getting the shaft, right? Blogs talk about this, but maybe you don't read blogs. Maybe this is the first time your eyes are opening to the idea that your life matters. Suddenly, what a crazy thought, right? Um, so so definitely you're not the lucky one, right? This is some sort of sick abusive relationship. If they're telling you that you should be so grateful that you even have a job, is a lie. The market is so insanely hot right now. Go to fucking Glassdoor and and just pick a job, leave, go somewhere. Like there's no reason to stay in a company that you're unhappy with. Um, so this is what I'm advocating, right? Hold people accountable. Your leadership is accountable not from the top, but from below, right? If enough of you, and this is where they kind of he's a commie, uh, might come into play here a bit. But I'm not actually advocating that you start picketing or that you do something drastic, right? All it takes is words. Just communicate. No one knows that you're suffering unless you tell them, right? You can look dour and sort of, oh darn it, what a what a bad scrum I just had. What a jerk my scrum master is, or whatever, right? And you could talk about it privately, and you can complain. You could go to happy hours and wish that things would be better. But yeah, you have to speak up, right? And some people don't. They find that distasteful. I used to be that way, right? I didn't used to tell people the truth to their face, right? I would just sort of put my head down, do my work, try not to get noticed, because I want to do fun stuff on the side. So finish my normal work, and then just go off and do something more enjoyable. And that has benefited me greatly, I think, in my career, because it's allowed me to sort of self-develop and do that. But that time, I shouldn't have to have like stolen that time, right? I should have just been given that time, Google 20% time or whatever, to self-develop and learn new skills that I could then apply back and just be better, become more valuable than what they're paying me for. So speak up, or at the very least, find a person you trust in the workplace who is a talker, who is a person who is extroverted and is willing to look out for your interests. These people exist, right? I met one today, and I was so inspired. I went home, and I'm recording this talk, because people can be good, and I think even the bad leaders, we've got a way to tell them that they need to improve without really being too on the nose with it, right? It's not as though there's no way for them to improve either. It's quite easy. But the first step is kind of understanding the difference between leaders and managers. And there's a very, very big difference, right? Again, this is based on anecdotal knowledge. This is not from a book. This is just kind of, I'm trying to show a little dichotomy here. But being a manager is really easy, and being a leader actually takes work, right? And that's I think the biggest challenge is most people who are in leadership roles, quote unquote, are in fact just managers. They just manage headcount. They look at status reports. They create little policies and procedures and controls. They might, govern things like hiring and promotions and firing, but ultimately they're just kind of there. They're needed because there's a kind of widespread delusion that people are just inherently lazy, and we need people, sort of taskmasters, to stand beside them and make sure that they're not loafing about, not doing anything, which may be true, but I think you could essentially automate that and be better at kind of time accounting, treat people like adults. And there's lots of ways that you could just sort of get rid of these kind of useless people manager kinds of people. Um, so no one, literally, no, I've never heard this. If you've heard this, I'd be very interested. Hey, look at Bob. He's a really charismatic manager. Oh, oh man. Uh, so it's a kind of hard truth to hear, and I know some people, or have known some people in my career who are genuinely not bad people. They're just kind of bad leaders. They don't quite know how to grapple with this newfound responsibility, and often because these decisions are not made um, with the right goals in mind, they're just sort of an afterthought, or they're kind of a promotion. Um, I'm really sensitive to this because I do genuinely care about the people who are in these positions, because I think they got there for the wrong reasons, because they were too good at the job they were doing, and so they got a promotion. They're probably insecure about this notion that they're bad leaders, and so I don't mean to say that um, that they should feel discouraged. I think they should feel encouraged, because the steps to becoming a better leader, like I'm sure there are seminars. I'm not going to pretend that I actually know how to be a better leader, but I know how to spot a bad one. It's like obscenity. I know it when I see it, right? Um, don't promote from within. It's gross. And if you do, um, be mindful that you're probably promoting somebody well outside their comfort zone and into a position that they have no real basis being in. The caveat to that is if you've kind of groomed that person from within and want to test them and you know them personally, but don't ever promote somebody just because they're really, really good at one thing, and now you should put them in charge of a team that does that one thing. That doesn't translate. That doesn't make any sense. Why are you doing it? Please stop. See the Peter Principle for evidence of why that's a bad idea. Um, this problem is sort of not going away as well. Um, Sorry, I should take a little intermission to do a Scotch break here. You can read this if you like. Actually, I think there's a quote on one of the next slides, so I could drink some more. So millennials are a, you know, that's the next big problem for every kind of hiring manager, um, and it really is a big problem, because these attitudes matter more to them, right? They're not accustomed to the same sorts of power dynamics that have worked in the past, right? They're very highly educated. They don't really just have an automatic respect for age and authority. You don't just get that for free. It has to be sort of earned. And so if you're a shit leader, you watch out, because they're either gunning for your job or they're not going to work for you for very long. Um, so really, you can't ignore, you literally cannot afford to ignore this advice. So yeah, just enjoy that. At least I told you that it was coming, right? Like I'm not actively working against you here. I want you to succeed. I don't want to do your job. I would prefer to do mine. I would prefer to just sort of get to type little ones and zeros and draw pretty pictures on a screen. But I feel like you're not living up to your end of the deal, and so here we are. So what's in it for you? You get to keep your job, I guess. We don't rise up against you and realize that you're useless. Sorry, no, that's rude. Just kidding. You get to keep your job and you get all the money, right? Being a good leader is all about capturing real value. Like it seems counterintuitive, but when you treat people well, they do better work, right? They pour themselves into something they're passionate about. They contribute to open source projects when they have no reason to. Like, it boggles, it defies logic. Why would anybody volunteer their time just because they care about something and they're not getting paid? Ugh, crazy. That's in no Six Sigma book I've ever read. Yeah, it's insane. But it's true, right? Don't ask me. Harvard Business Review, an average of 31% more productivity and better sales. Who wouldn't want that, right? Harvard Business Review, fuck do they know? Um, it's true, though. Seriously, like, it's people are happier. You get lower turnover rate. You get better retention, obviously, because that's just the dual of turnover, and more productivity for nothing, right? For treating people with respect. Okay, so for the leaders in the room, hopefully I haven't lost you, because this really was directed towards you. Fire the toxic people right away. Okay, they exist. Assuming that the nerds who are watching this have started to talk to you and started to tell you who the toxic people are in your organization, find a way. Manage them out, whatever you have to do. Get just gone. Gone. They are a drain on your, like, the more people that report to them, it's like an exponential drain on your productivity and morale and everything else. You're probably getting maybe 25% out of people who are, 2 layers below. This is all completely made up. But I want to believe it, and so I'm going to tell you and hope that you believe it too. The further down a hierarchy of bad managers you are, you're just being diminished by that much. Promote based on leadership ability, encourage leadership ability, because I think it really can be valuable. I don't think everybody wants to be. Not many people are natural born leaders, and I don't claim to be one myself. I think I'm riding some sort of bipolar mania or something right now. Who the hell knows? But I'm talking to you right now. Maybe in 6 months I won't be. I don't know. But I'm happy now. So here we go. But promote and encourage leadership ability because it does have value. See the 30% some odd productivity. You need someone there that's motivating and causing that growth in people, but not just like sticks all the time. Be a carrot. Don't just, cause ass torture or something. Delete or really streamline your process. It's probably cumbersome and frustrating. It probably involves a lot of unnecessary handoffs and people not knowing what the other is doing. That's generally bad. I'm in the middle of recording. Please don't come in. Recording at home, right? It's lovely. Never increase headcount prematurely. You probably will get this wrong. You will probably hire incorrectly. Just stop. That's really for leaders, not about leaders, but that's just a good tip. And then treat your employees with respect, right? Treat them like adults. When you want your kids to behave, don't, slap them across the face or send them to their rooms. Treat them with respect. Treat them like adults. I'm not a parent, so easy parenting advice. Suck it. But I think intuitively we know that that's true, right? We've seen that. When you talk down to someone, they respond in kind. They're not going to turn around and be like, oh, okay, I guess I have to respect you now because you know so much more than me. I'm so little. I don't know anything about the world. No, they don't internalize that. I don't know. They probably feel put upon by this strange person. Like, who are you? Who are you to tell me? Especially millennials. We're so sassy. We're thinking internally like, yeah, whatever, right? And no, that's so disrespectful. But it's true, and you should probably know that, and you should give us some respect too, because we're pretty fucking smart. Give them what they need and listen to them. It's not that hard, Don't arbitrarily create rules that are, run counter to your business, If you're in technology, don't block blogs about technology, Encourage it. Encourage links. Encourage your employees to share links to things that they've read. Like, these are easy things, right? Respect them. It'll go a long way. If you're creative, understand your value. That is it blows my mind to see people be depressed and not feel like they're worth something because they are. And if you don't feel like you're worth something and you're genuinely not good at what you're doing now, go follow your passion, go follow your dreams, and the money will follow, right? That's not, that's not a cliche. That just tends to be true. You will make more money, you will have a more satisfying career if you do something you're good at. So, if you've always dreamed of, circumnavigating the world and taking photos from hot air balloons, there's probably somebody who's willing to get involved with that. Go start a Kickstarter and figure it out. Go live your life, but don't just be mediocre at something. Um, Meetings suck. Vote with your feet. Yeah, that's really just kind of a personal pet peeve. But um, if you keep getting dragged to meetings, you're not working. Your flow is being broken, and you're not really being as productive as you can. And most meetings could be just dissolved, right? They could be an email, but someone on the manager's schedule decided that you should all get together and I don't know, it could be a power play, who knows? But just don't go, right? Just skip the meeting. It's probably worthless. Um, be vocal or find someone who'll be vocal for you. This one is a special non-shout out because I didn't clear this with her, but I recently encountered a person who I believe is a very, very good leader in a managerial sort of role, which is kind of, strangely sick to me, especially in the context of this video, because I think she could be doing a lot more. But, I've always had this kind of antagonistic relationship toward sort of scrum masters and project managers. But there are some who are genuinely good, and this one in particular sort of exemplified the notion of a scrum master, where her primary interest was making sure that her team did well, and that her developers, one in particular who was kind of laboring under a sort of bad situation, was going to get what he deserved. And that's huge, right? So find these people. If you are too afraid, one, quit and find another job where you feel less afraid. That's probably a given. But two, if you feel like improving your lot in life, just find a vocal person. They do exist. There are genuinely nice people in the world. Find them and have them be your advocate instead. And sometimes they're willing to do it, right? Because ultimately it benefits them. Their team improves. They look amazing. Their peers look bad. They get promotions. Everybody wins, right? It is ultimately a game in a lot of ways. So optimize, be a munchkin, be a min-max, whatever you have to do to be happy. You can have these slides; they're free with all the links and everything else. They're on my GitHub page. Feel free to have them. More things will probably pile in there as time goes on, as I write more and more blog entries. But this is the first blog. And so I hope that you have enjoyed it. Special shout outs to my friend James Marsh for giving me his righteous indignation. He's no longer, I don't see him very often. I haven't spoken to him in several years, I think, at this point. But he was, I genuinely hope he's watching, but he was a strange leader. He was, I think, a good leader. But also just kind of, a little bit out there. He had the indignation, but maybe not the will to get it done. So I'm kind of carrying on his flaming torch to light the bags of poo, kind of in his honor. The love, editing, and hopefully eventually YouTube captioning will come from Ms. Nicole and the unnamed fish fan who gave me the courage and the not the courage. I don't know what the word is. Pity, I guess. No. But that I'm trying to convince him very desperately that people do care and that people are willing to take risks for other people and that things can change. So that is it. I hope that you are inspired to go out and tell people exactly what you've always wanted to tell them. I hope as a lead, if you are a manager who is not yet a leader, that you can find and navigate that transition. And if you have any questions, there's sure to be a comment section, or leave a comment on my blog, shoot me a tweet. I'm suddenly a very social person, so until that dies down, I'm an open book. Just yeah, give me some feedback. People appreciate it, I think, if it's done in the right way. Don't be a dick. But thank you very much, and I hope that you enjoyed. Goodbye.